One of my all-time favourites, TBC. Tom Barry Cotter, mate, welcome and welcome to Acme Racing to Wyndham Harbour for the first time.
Nah, thanks, Bisho. We're excited to be here. Yeah, the weather's turned it on, and couldn't be more excited to get out there and have a crack today.
Mate, so the boat did its first race on the Gold Coast, your hometown, and then you've run Wyndham Harbour after... Wyndham Harbour, you did Lake Macquarie after that, I should say. Tell us about those two races.
Yeah, out of the box at the Gold Coast, it was super quick. The first day there was rough. We sort of just got the wrong setup, but the boat felt really good the next day. It was, we were keeping up with Triple Two, mixing it with them in the corners and had a bit of fun with them. So that was, for a first outing, that was great. We changed a bunch on the boat and tried some stuff and probably outsmarted ourselves for Lake Macquarie. So we've gone back to sort of more of a setup, closer to the setup what we had on the Gold Coast, and we've been doing a bit more testing back home. So found a little bit more pace in the boat and that, so it'll be good, but we're still learning the boat. It's still pretty new, but I think as a package, I think it's going to be super quick once we get our head around it.
Tell me the story on this boat, mate, because I know that a very similar boat to this, you actually had the privilege of duffing and destroying. I'm trying to remember where it was. It was up in Queensland somewhere, but tell me how that crash that you had.
Yeah, no, so basically the story of this boat is it was originally started as a Victory hull, Class 2 hull out of the UAE, and that evolved into a 525 boat that Maritimo bought, and that got snapped in half and broke in half in Mackay a few years ago. They sort of took that design and extended it to 36 feet and to run Supercat class in the US with, but they only ran the boat here until it had a pretty unfortunate accident in 2019 in Hervey Bay, where that boat got completely destroyed. So what you see here is basically a few pieces of that boat that burnt, and Andrew had bought that as a sort of semi-repaired, but still in quite a state, and we modified the whole bottom of it. We changed the bustle on the back to accept like the surface drives, so changed from Mercury M6 drives to surface drives, and we've changed a lot on the boat. It's going to be a pretty competitive package once we get a bit more testing in and just get the feel for it.
As the Searle boys always do, mate, it looks absolutely resplendent. He does love presentation. Drag racers do love their presentation, don't they? And of course, Andrew, a very famous drag racer here in Australia, but the boat's turned out beautifully.
Yeah, no, we couldn't be happy. Couldn't be happier for him, and to sort of rep these first few races with the legacy sort of decals on it, as he and Steve used to run the boat back in the sort of mid and late thousands, and it's cool and it's great to see the boat, for nostalgia reasons, see it back on the course in that sort of same livery.
Mate, absolutely. I mean, the great Steve Searle, it was an absolute doyen of offshore powerboat racing. We loved having him around. We all still miss him a lot, and it's really good to see his brother, upholding the legacy.
Yeah, certainly. You see the Searle brothers racing all over the boat. So, we talk about Steve often, and but it's really good just to see Andrew, being able to get out there and enjoy it and be racing again.
How are you going to beat those Triple Two guys boost, mate?
Yeah, they're obviously hard to beat. They're probably the best in the world at the moment. So, we just got to keep working on the boat and get more and more out of the boat. The thing with racing in the Maritimo boat and the Triple Two boat, that they came out of the same mould. They're both built by the Maritimo factory, and so they were so close, closely matched. You had little bits here and there. The difference with this is that it's such a completely different design. So we can either be completely one end and non-competitive with them, or we can get a big advantage on them too if we can get our head around this boat. So look, there's a lot in the boat, and Andrew and I are sort of gelling together. We've been doing a lot of testing back home, so beginning to gel in the cockpit, and it'll take a couple of races, but I think we'll be mixing it with them pretty strongly, I think, in the next few races.
I guess you've got a bit of an advantage, mate, in that you've raced a lot. Of course, your father, Bill Barry Cotter, is an offshore racing legend, and you've been around this stuff since you're a kid. I mean, you must be able to jump into a boat and at least know if it's somewhere where it needs to be.
Yeah, it's nearly 20 years, I've been doing it now, so, and all sorts of different classes and that, so it's pretty, just knowing the sort of baseline of where we need to be is always a good start, and then but you can jump in the boat now, sort of after sort of running boats for this long, and that you can get the feel for it pretty quick, and and it feels good straight out of the box. This boat just had some things about it that feel good. it's always easy to make boats go fast in a straight line and making them accelerate, like in tuning, like you can find that. What's hard sometimes and where people get lost is being able to make them handle, and that's a dark art. And this thing out of the box just drives around like a go-kart. Like it is a seriously good handling boat. So that's one thing that's just really good. And that's, you know, when we worked on it, we wanted to make sure that we could get it around the turns. You know, so yeah, I think, you know, it's going to be a good package.
Always been my philosophy, mate. It's about fast lap times, not top end speed down the straight.
That's it. Yeah, no, it's the average speed, not the top. Yeah.
Thanks, mate. You make me feel old. You've been doing this stuff for 20 years. I remember your snotty-nosed brat running around the pits when you were a kid. So, hey, good on you, Tommy. It's great to see you here in Melbourne, mate, and I hope you have a great race this weekend.
No worries. Thanks, Fisher. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final race of the day, round number 2 here at the Australian Offshore Superboat Championships, Wyndham Harbour. And we have got 3 categories on the water for you: our Super 85s, our Super V 85s, our Super Sports 85s, and our Super Sports 65 category. Lots of action, lots of damage in the pits today, and a lot of guys doing a lot of work, and it's going to be tough to get a few of these boats turned around for tomorrow's racing. So these guys just doing their sighting lap now. So for Hornet Property Services, Motec MSC signs, and of course 7 Mate and 7 Plus, along with 321 Ignition Media, Bisho Media, and GP Hydro live streaming. The conditions have settled a little bit, I think. And for those of you at home watching, we're not racing at Epilogue today, Scotty. We're actually racing at Wyndham Harbour. We had a little bit of a whoopsie. Said we were racing at Lake Epilogue, which is another wonderful venue, but we're not. We're here at Wyndham Harbour today. Big shout out. Just had a pizza from the pizza shop here, and it was absolutely fantastic. So a big shout out to the team there at 3030. So this should be a cracker. I've just got to run through the boats that we do have out there. I'm not sure we unfortunately, Benny Brown had a little bit of an issue with his back in the waist and dough. This race has been shortened up a little bit, probably due to the carnage that we had in race number 1. So 20 minutes for this one instead of 30 minutes. Big shout out to my old mate Marty Chiminello, who's watching from in hospital as well. Good on you, Marty. Had his knee replaced. He'll be like a new man, mate. You'll be playing footy next week. So thanks, Marty. Thanks for the message, and hope you get well real soon, mate. So 20 minutes for this one, folks, as we pick the field up. We've got the Super V85 now. I've heard that the Gone Mental boat had an issue. They have a fire system, a fire suppression system in those boats. And apparently it dislodged itself in the rough water with all the jumping that it was doing, and actually came out and set itself off. So I don't think Lisley will be out there. Avenger, I believe it was just some alarms going off in the injection system. In fact, so we might actually, we've got the Sting boys just down in the pits here. We might either get Mike or Carl to come up and have a few words about that race. If that would, if you blokes could come up, one of you, would be great. And we've got our final race of the day about to get underway. Super V85, Super Sports 85 and Super Sports 65. And flags dropped. We are racing. And you can hear the throttles open up, and Mark the Russian, well, he absolutely decimated the field in race number 1. You can see the special edition on the inside, the Colonel on the outside, charging very, very hard indeed. And I think that's Sammy Lisley there. So he is back out there. That's great news in the Gone Mental. He's running in the Super V85. He'd be pretty disappointed that he didn't get going in race 1, but he's back out there. So that's great news. We'll just get these boats through, and then Carl Wall's going to join me up here in commentary. We're going to have a chat about the previous race. But so Supersport 85, and it is special edition in front of the Colonel. Super V85 is the Gone Mental, and then throw a blanket over the Supersport 65. Nutcase, winner of round number 1, but unfortunately they had a couple of stops in race number 1. We got Valentis, race number 1 winner on the inside. Look at them running that tight line. Then you got the Villain, the Cayley boys, just running, dropping to the outside there. That's an interesting race line from them. I wouldn't have been going all that way out there. Do and Doe on, or Waste and Doe, I should say, on the outside. And the rest of the field goes through. It's like a washing machine out there at the moment, as we see in Forsen with Adrian Vandersloot and Corey Robson. Carl Wall joining me in commentary. G'day, mate. You've had a good day.
G'day, Bush. How are you going, mate?
I'm perfect, mate. We're having a great day out here. It looked pretty bumpy out there. Probably not as bad for you guys as it is for these guys in the smaller boats.
Oh, 100%. They're absolutely copping a flogging out there with those little boats. But no, we copped a fair few bumps and bangs on the way through, but we had a great race.
That was an interesting one because the you got a great start. You were leading pretty comfortably. Then Mantis ploughed up through the field. And they actually pulled a Swifty on you down the bottom here. You ran a bit wide and they got up the inside of you, got next to you. But then what happened after that? They disappeared.
Yeah, we're just talking to Anthony and Matt. They landed on the side. The wind caught them. They were a big sail and they were flying along the side of the boat. And luckily she came down on its legs and kept on going. But that gave us that little lead and we just kept building the lead after that.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was watching down here and I saw you run that bit wide and they took big advantage of that. I don't think you'll let that happen again, will you?
No. The first couple of laps we're still trying to learn how to drive this boat. I think we've really figured it out now because we were taking some beautiful lines. Mike was driving the wheels off that boat. It was hard work for him, but, mate, he could drive. He can drive.
No, it looked fantastic, mate. The boat looks fantastic on the water. It's just sitting beautifully. I mean, the trim angle's perfect. It looks quick. Gee, it looked almost impossible to beat, to be honest.
Mate, once we had it sorted after the second, third lap, mate, she was a rocket ship. She was getting faster and faster every lap.
Just don't let that madness up your inside again, all right?
Never again. That's it. That's their first and last look.
Good on you, mate. Hey, great drive today. Good luck for the rest of the weekend. It's looking good for you.
Thanks, Fisho.
Thanks, Carl. Carl Wall, of course, doing it for Lockie as always and doing a beautiful job and having a well-earned beer, I think. Oh, yeah. Good on you, mate. Well done. Okay, so special edition now down through the bottom turn and they've got a good break here on Colonel Racing, Team Colonel Racing. And the Kelly boys, big jump there from the Colonel. A little bit of a land on its side arrangement, but it's Mick Kelly and Jason Kelly, so it's uncle and nephew combination in that particular boat. So great to have the Kelly family all here. I saw Mum and Dad Kelly here as well, so it's always nice to have the doyens of the family. Of course, Stephen's out there racing, as is Scott. Unfortunately for Scott, he's racing the RS Motorsports. I have heard the word that RS Motorsports may have broken the transom, which is the back bit of the boat that the engines bolt onto. So that is quite big damage if that's the case. And that'll be a big repair, unfortunately, there for Ryan Shan. So that's a real shame for him because he would have been enjoying these conditions in that boat. Sam Lisley, he is doing a good job. And I can't see Tim Pickford out there in this one. So it's interesting. Tim Pickford, race number 1 winner. Sam Lisley, unfortunately, in this Gone Mental machine, having to pull out. But now Sam's out there. So if they're going to run the championship, and we hope these boys, we see them at Geelong in 3 weeks' time, they will be fairly even on points going into this if Sam can bring this boat home. A 20-minute race. So doing a good job. Here we go. So the Pack boys now. Paddy and Mickey Pack in the Valentis. They head out and lead race number 2 at the moment. Back to Nutcase with Harry the Boatman Backer and Shane Payton. Then it's Danny and Dean Cayley rounding out the top 3 in that particular category. The Cardiac Arrest, Charlie Diorio and Pete Conglado. Doing a good job, and then a little bit of a gap back to Hun 74 with Greggy Williams.
Walters, I should say. Williams, where did I come up with that from? Scotty, I don't know. And behind them is Adrian Vandersloot and Corey Robson in the Enforcen machine. A couple of ski racing boys. But race leader, Melanie Jackson and Mark the Russian bring the special edition down through into the bottom turn. And they are, well, winners of race number 1 and look like they're heading on their way to do this one as well. They're charging hard. They've made some big ground there on the Colonel with the Kelly boys on board. I'll tell you what, these teams have taken an absolute beating today. In fact, just look at Sam Livesley up the top corner. Look at the spray coming off that boat as it goes up through the top turn. Plenty of ballast into that boat. And really just taking a beating, these boats. They are designed to run in very rough water. In World Championship style water ski racing, this type of condition is very, very common. So these boats are built for this. But when you park them up next to a big offshore boat, they look pretty short. That's because they are pretty short compared to a lot of the offshore boats. So Livesley there just trying to hold off a hard charging Paddy and Mick Pack. There in the Valentis, they're the leaders of the Supersport 65 category. Nutcase. These boys will be trying to make up some ground. Shane Payton and Harry the Boatman Backer. The Razorcraft. These boys built the Razorcraft boats and they're certainly out there to prove their performance. And then the Cayley boys and then back to the Cardiac Arrest machine. So a really good battle going on in this 65 category. Front straight though, it's all Mark the Russian. And this boat is just lapping up the conditions here at Wyndham Harbour today. It's a Coodercraft built by the owner, Mark the Russian. We call him Mark the Russian because not even he can pronounce his own surname. Down through the bottom turn. So Colonel coming through now, doing it very, very nicely indeed. Kelly boys, but I don't know how they're going to actually try and bridge the gap between them and the special edition machine. It's just not the day for them, unfortunately. Of course, these boats are limited to the 85 mile an hour category, so all of the results that we see on the water are subject to, obviously, the officials checking the GPSs that come out of these boats at the end of the race. So, although we're seeing Mark the Russian winning pretty comfortably at the moment and also winning race number 1. It doesn't necessarily mean that he hasn't cracked over that 85 mile an hour mark. Having said that, in these types of conditions today, I don't think 85 would be very achievable. So I'd be fairly confident that none of these guys are breaking out at the moment. Good little battle going on there between the Hun 74 machine with Greggy Walters and Enforcing with Adrian van der Sloot and Corey Robson. Sammy Lisley's having a real crack here in this Gone Mental machine. Even though he's the only boat in the category out there at the moment, he's certainly not stopping him from pushing along very, very hard. Boat's very nosy. You can see when it drops in a hole, just a lot of spray coming off the front of the boat there. Jumping, it's actually jumping even a little bit nosy. I'd probably just ditch just a touch of ballast out of that. Probably just bring the tabs up just a little bit and just try and get it to fly a little bit more level. It's just when it's landing on its nose rather than nice and level. The pack boys, Paddy and Mickey, just leading this 65 mile an hour category very, very comfortably, the Supersport 65. The Russian just barrels around the outside. He has had the best day of his life so far. Boat has been absolutely sensational. It's loved the conditions. The real battle of the race is this one here between the Nutcase and the Villain. Nutcase on the inside and Villain on the outside. And that's for second place at the moment. Currently it's Nutcase with a bit of a break. Cardiac arrest running through into fourth place at the moment. So I think we've lost a boat on the course. It may be Enforcing. So I haven't seen them come through. So I could also be wrong, but we'll keep an eye on that. There is a boat that's getting towed. I'm just hearing from our officials. Colonel comes through to tick off another lap. We got around 6 minutes left to run in this race. 6 1/4 minutes. So the field's starting to bunch up a little bit up the top end of the course now. You can see Sam Lisley from a mile away. He's the one throwing up all that spray off the front of that boat. He's just heading up through the top turn now. Oh no, in front of him is Enforcing, so those boys are up and running. That's good. A little bit out of order though. I wonder whether they had a little bit of a pit stop. I'm not sure. So Enforcing coming through. Adrian van der Sloot and Corey Robson. And then coming around the outside of them is Sam Lisley in the Gone Mental. But round the outside of him Mark, the Russian, and Melanie Nelson. Very good job. Race leader in the Supersport 65 category is still the Pack Boys. Gee, Lisley's taking some big hits in that boat. You'd see the spray from that thing from the moon, I reckon, at the moment. Oh, thank you, Andy Smith. God love you. Villain down through the bottom turn. So they're running up into... Okay, look at this there. So there's been a problem here. The Razorcraft has dropped out the back door. So the Cayley boys moving up into second. The Cardiac Arrest Machine running through up into third. And Nutcase getting shuffled back into fourth place. So it has not been Shane Payton and Harry the Boatman Backer's day today. After multiple stops in race number one, they were challenging for second place in this category in this race, and now they've shuffled back to fourth place. Round about 2 minutes 45 left to run in this 20-minute race, so things have settled down, but I think the big problem here has certainly been the team of Nutcase, and of course Waste and Doe as well is a boat that's pulled into the centre of the course, which is a shame for those boys. You can see the yellow Revolution over there. I said in an earlier race, Scotty, that I broke the engine off that boat, but I got my Revolutions confused. It was actually 40's 4D Racing that I broke the engine off. Same boat. Experts make the same mistakes for more complex reasons. You know what an expert is, don't you? X is a has-been and a spurt's a drip under pressure. That's me. Still watching these massive big sprays coming from the Gone Mental machine as he drives that nose in. So Melanie Nelson and Mark the Russian charging hard down the front straightaway. That boat just eating up these conditions. This boat is at home jumping the bar at Malakuta. That's Mark's playground. And a little bit of Port Phillip Bay chop not bothering him one little bit. He is having an absolute riot out there at the moment. Got that Maritimo Kurt built race engine in the big Cuda craft. Mercury number 6 stern drive swinging from the transom. Absolutely beautiful. Well, I tell you what, all the old ski races are from Hayden Wild, and I did know this actually. Get well as well, Hayden, because he's had a hip replacement. So all the boys are falling to bits at the moment, but that is time up now for this race, so we'll just be waiting on, I would say, a checkered flag for the lead boat, and the lead boat is Edition. So you'll be up and about soon, I reckon, Hayden. Hopefully. That's what they do to you when you get a hip. They just make you get up and around. Same as Marty down through the bottom turn, and the Colonel round the outside. So Nutcase now just coming through. So a pretty treacherous day there for the Razorcraft crew. Not the success that they were hoping for. They won all three races up at round number 1 in Lake Macquarie, but today has not been their day. Hopefully they can get it back together for tomorrow. But it has been a dissection of the field by this man and his lovely partner. It's Mark the Russian and Melanie Nelson in the special edition with the 700 horsepower Maritimo race engine. Special edition wins race number 2, ladies and gentlemen. And Mark will be absolutely ecstatic with that. In fact, he even brought his own little checkered flag with him. God love him. That's confidence for you. 2 of them, in fact. Well done, Mark. He should be it's been a long, hard road with this boat. There's been a lot of teething problems, but they are on top of it, and it is absolutely on fire. And 2 for 2 today here at Wyndham Harbour. The Coodercrafts win. Okay, boats coming through, and the Pack boys, Paddy and Mick Pack, take the win in the Super Sport 65, and that's 2 for 2 for the Pack boys. Well done, Team Valentis, and a couple of donuts just to go on with. Well done, boys. Paddy Pack, one of the quiet gentlemen of the sport. But have a look at this, coming to the line, we've got it all going on. We got second position in the Supersport 65 category. The Villain, they'll come through to pick up Supersport 65. And on the outside, Supersport 85, Super V85 winner, Sam Livesley in the Gone Mental. Third place in 65 will be the Cardiac Arrest. And second place in Supersport 85 will be the Colonel. So just a couple of boats just coming up through the top turn now, and it's the Nutcase on the inside and the Enforcin on the outside. And down the front straight away. So Razorcraft, the Nutcase, Harry the Boatman Backer and Shane Payton, they'll be a bit disappointed with today. I think they had drama in race number 1, and then they went out the back door. They were going okay in this one and got shuffled out the back door pretty convincingly. So whether they had a problem, I'm not sure. I'd say they might have. But a good effort for them to get home and still collect points towards the championship. And Their championship still well and truly alive. Razorcraft comes through, picks up 4th place. And the ski race, boys, and stunt pilot Adrian Vandersloot and Corey Robson come through in the Enforcen to complete the course. Final boat home. And that is us done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Hello, Scott. How's the wind up here? It's unbelievable. That wraps it up for everybody watching at home. We hope you enjoyed the racing today. We've got more racing tomorrow, so stay tuned with GP Hydro live streaming and also on board with Bisho Media. Big thank you to Hornet Property Services, Motec, MSC Signs, also 7+7, mate. 321 Ignition, and of course the beautiful GP Hydro live streaming. Everybody doing a great job. Big thank you to all our volunteers, all our course boats as always, our start boat, and of course everybody that works in the tower, in the tent, and all the officials that are getting around. It's going to be a great day's racing again tomorrow. We hope you enjoyed the racing today. My name's Bisho. We'll see you tomorrow.